Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Louis Carlin, right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Okay, this is going to be a quick one. I know it's Thursday, Impact Wrestling's coming on soon, but Jay White names Impact Wrestling as one of his possible destinations. First, I want to thank Humble Beast for sending me the article, sent me the information on Instagram. So Humble Beast, thank you very much for sending me the information. I had a very busy Thursday at work, and I wasn't able to keep up on the news. So I want to thank Humble Beast one more time for sending me this information. So Jay White actually named Impact Wrestling as one of his possible destinations. His run with New Japan Pro Wrestling is coming to an end. So Fightful.com actually had this article out. It says, at New Japan Pro Wrestling, the new beginning in Osaka, Jay White lost the Lose or Leave Japan match to Hikuleo. It was a good match. It wasn't a great match. It was a good match. Jay White lost to Hikuleo. Says, while still part of New Japan Pro Wrestling and will compete against Eddie Kingston at New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley. But should he continue New Japan Pro Wrestling, it will be in America as per the stipulation of his Loser Leave Japan match. Now, I just want to point out that a stipulation was actually added to the Eddie Kingston Jay White match. If Jay White loses, he must leave New Japan Pro Wrestling altogether. So if Jay White loses the match to Eddie Kingston, Jay White must leave New Japan Pro Wrestling altogether. And if Eddie Kingston loses, he can't wrestle in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring again. So I think it's a safe bet saying that. I think it's a safe bet that Eddie Kingston is going to win that match, and Jay White will no longer be a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Um, Again, Jay White, I think his contract is up. I think he wants to. He indicated that he wants to wrestle full time in the States, I believe. But anyway, let's continue with the article. Um, so Jay White was speaking with Justin Barrasso at Sports Illustrated, and Jay White discussed his future. And so Jay White had this to say: "So much is possible. Impact." AEW, WWE, we'll see. I'm at peace with it. I don't know if there's much more I could have done. I don't feel like I left a bunch of boxes unchecked. He's talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. I've been living it, so it can be hard to appreciate it in the moment. But as I move on, I start to look back at the weights, at the weight some of it holds. As time goes on, I hope people appreciate it even more. To me, I was doing what I meant to be. I was meant to be doing. Now I'm looking at what's next. I can't go back to Japan, but there's nothing. But there's nothing that says I can't compete at the shows in the United States. Hikuleo was everything I always knew he was. I always believed in him. I'm so proud of him, and his moment came against me. So now we're tied together forever. Says Fightful reported in January that White's contract was set to expire soon. Numerous companies had interest in Jay White. WWE felt confident that they could land him, but we're told that's hardly guaranteed at this point. There was another article here. Let me just see if I can find it real quick on SE Scoops. Here. I just want to just read this. I'm looking at what's next. Okay, actually, it's the same information. I thought there was a little more information here in the SE Scoops article, but nonetheless, he mentioned Impact Wrestling. I know he mentioned that he had a good relationship with Impact Wrestling. He enjoyed the working there. He enjoyed the roster. I believe he praised Scott Demore in a past interview. So he did mention Impact Wrestling. You know. WWE, I think he would get lost in the WWE. Honestly, I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. I think he would go to the WWE and he would just get lost in the WWE. AEW, AEW. If he went to AEW, I think he would have like the first 2 3 weeks would be Jay White would be the Jay White show, and then he kind of would fall off, and he'd just be waiting for creative to come up with something for him. I think I'd love to see him in Impact Wrestling. I think Impact Wrestling would be an excellent destination. There's a lot of potential for him in Impact Wrestling. There's a lot of potentially great matches. Jay White against Josh Alexander, of course, Jay White against Moose, Jay White against Rich Swann, Jay White against Sami Callihan. Lots of great possibilities in Impact Wrestling for Jay White. So, and I'm glad that he named Impact Wrestling first before AEW and WWE. It probably doesn't mean anything, but Impact Wrestling, he named it first. Hopefully that's the number one promotion on his list right now, on his desired promotion. We'll see, but I'd love if Impact Wrestling could land Jay White. My goodness, that'll be one hell of addition, one hell of an addition to the Impact Wrestling roster. There's so many decent free agents out there right now. Then I talked about Aussie Open on the last podcast. Myron Reed is still available. Nick Aldis is still out there. Impact Wrestling could bring in some really top-notch guys. They were able to bring in Jay White and Aussie Open. My goodness, Impact Wrestling would be just they'd be rocking it, man. If they could pull that off, if they could pull off Jay White and Aussie Open, and of course, Myron Reed. I'm surprised Myron Reed's not in Impact Wrestling by now, but hope to see him in Impact Wrestling soon. But there's a lot of talent out there, lots of really really good talent that are. Jay White's becoming a free agent. I know I fully expect him to lose that match to Eddie Kingston. Well, he'll have to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling altogether. Man, I'd love to see him in Impact Wrestling, and I'd love to see Aussie Open and Myron Reed. They could get all three. If they could get Aussie Open, Jay White, and Myron Reed, my goodness, that'll be a lightning bolt additions to the Impact Wrestling roster. So hopefully they could pull it off. All right, so we're gonna end it at that for now. I know Impact Wrestling is coming on in a half an hour, so I'm not too long. Gotta go get the fish sticks. Gotta get the fish stick sandwiches ready for Impact Wrestling, Impact and Access. Looking forward to it tonight. So again, keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll see Jay White, Aussie Open, and Myra Reed and Nick Aldis in Impact Wrestling very, very soon. Okay, so we're gonna leave it at that. Like I said, until I'm back, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.